Hey guys, welcome to Questions and Kramswers. On today's segment, I have 3 or 4 questions from 3 different submitters that I'm going to tackle. So let's get right into it. The first question comes from someone who actually submitted a question for the last Questions and Kramswers segment. This is from NakashimaKentaChan. And this person asks, thanks for the answers, you're welcome. Also, 2 more questions. Do you have any friends that have gotten married to Japanese people when they arrived? And how is dating there in Japan? I know you're married, but I mean before that. First, do you have any friends that have gotten married to Japanese people when they arrived? I don't have any friends that got married to people as soon as they arrived, but I have friends who lived in Japan for a while and then gotten engaged and subsequently married a Japanese person. So yes, I know several people like that. Actually, it's not very uncommon. I'm kind of an odd foreigner in that I did not come over here single. I came over here with at the time my fiance, and then we got married. And she's an American. We came over here at the same time. And how was dating in Japan? Before I got married, I was engaged. I've been with the same woman for 8 years, or almost 9 years now. So I've never dated a Japanese person. I've never dated in Japan. Never been on the market in Japan. So I couldn't really talk about that much. But from what I can see from friends of mine who date, it seems pretty similar to the way it is in the West. But I do know that there are a few interesting kind of idiosyncrasies that Japanese dating culture has. One in particular involves shoushokuke danshi, which translates to grass-eating man, or an herbivore. And this is basically describes a phenomenon that's kind of happened in Japan over the past 10 years or so, of men that are not interested in dating, are not interested in marriage, and I guess ultimately it comes down to are not interested in sex. These men, like I said, are not interested in dating or anything of that nature. And they're often more interested in personal grooming, personal hygiene. They will, they're very high fashion individuals and have, will have outrageous hairstyles very often. And if they do appear to have a girlfriend, I've also heard that if they have a girl with them, often they're not really dating that girl. The girl is actually more of an accessory to the guy, and it kind of works mutually. I think that any girl that one of these guys would be with is kind of mutually not interested in the relationship aspect. It's just the appearance of having a boyfriend, the appearance of being a normal person. So these people are generally more concerned with self-advancement than they are with trying to find a partner of any type. So that's kind of interesting, but I don't really know a whole lot about that, and I really don't know a whole lot about dating in Japan, other than what I've kind of seen from an outsider's perspective. But it seems like it pretty much is the same as it is in the West. The next question comes from glinkolik. I love your vids, and now a question for me you can answer in the upcoming Q&K video. I watched a report about Japanese people some time ago, and it was about saying your opinion and standing up for STH. I'm not sure. They said that Japanese people usually do not discuss, and that it is commonly uncool to say your opinion. Now, I find this interesting since people are different, and I can't imagine every Japanese to be a person who doesn't criticize. So my question would be, is that true? Kind of sorting through what you've written here. It seems like you're asking if stating your opinion is frowned upon in Japan. In my experience, it's not necessarily frowned upon so much as it is how you express your opinion. I think it's in discussion. In discussion in Japanese, it's very important to maintain a mutual respect with the person that you are debating with, if it has come to a debate at that point. And basically, how you do this is by using specific Japanese phrases and things that mean essentially, I see what you're saying, or I respect your opinion, or I agree with you, but these are very common. one thing that is interesting to me is that my wife in college, she went to a college with a very high percentage of foreign students, particularly Japanese students. And she said that in a lot of her English course studies that there would be moments when the teacher would kind of pass the ball to the students and say, what do you think about this piece of literature, or what do you think about the decision that this character made in the piece that they're reading, or whatnot. And everyone would kind of take their turn talking about what they thought, and the Japanese students would have a really hard time, beyond the language barrier, would have a really hard time coming to the fact that they had to give an opinion, or that they had an opinion that was valuable in the classroom. So in normal society, I would say that having an opinion is not looked upon negatively necessarily. It's just kind of how you say it. But in the classroom, I think that it's likely that opinions are not commonly expressed in the classroom. I feel like it's probably the case that in a Japanese classroom, the teacher is there to give you what they think and to teach you what they think, and what you think is not important. You're there to just get things from the teacher, and that's kind of how I think that's kind of how education works here when it comes to matters of opinion. And the last question comes from Tenshouification, and this person asks, here's a question: ever ran into a Yakuza? I don't think so. I don't think I have. It's possible that I have, but I wouldn't know it because they tend to be kind of low key. If you see someone that's got like tattoos of koi fish and dragons and stuff up and down their arms and whatnot, yeah, they're probably working with organized crime in some way. If you run into someone who is missing a pinky finger, then it's likely that at some point in their life they have worked with the Yakuza. But by and large, organized crime groups in Japan kind of stay out of the public's way. They don't get involved in so much street crime. The Yakuza deal in blackmail, extortion, and money laundering, and that's kind of their bread and butter. And that's kind of how they continue to operate. And a lot of that stuff doesn't really involve the public. They kind of only deal with people who come to them first. So basically, if you stay out of their way, they'll stay out of your way. That's kind of how it works. However, I do know a couple of people who have had run-ins with what they believe were Yakuza. And it basically involved the people that I know being inebriated or getting upset and yelling at the wrong person, and that person ended up not being the type of person that you really want to yell at in that way. But I was not there for those instances. I can't comment on the veracity of those experiences, but I have been told stories about people I know running into organized crime members. And yeah, they're fun stories and they're interesting stories, but personally, I've never had an experience like that. And I don't run in those circles, so I don't expect to have any experience like that anytime soon, anyway, I hope. But anyway, that's it for questions and Kramswers. If you have a question, please leave it in the comments below. You can also mention me on Twitter at DustyCramCram and leave me a question there. Or you can email me at craminjapan@gmail.com. Now, if you would like to leave a video response question, that's totally fine, but I won't be able to use that video in the next segment. If you want your video to be included in my next video, then please send me a Dropbox link or a zipped up video file or something where I can retrieve your video and throw it into the next video. So until next time, take care, guys.
Thank you for watching.